Sometimes the man on the stairs talked to me. He said if I tell my mommy and daddy, he will hurt them. He has nasty clothes and spiders all over his face. He told me that he likes to watch me sleep. He likes to play with me. Sometimes he gets really mean. Sometimes he makes my room really cold. I think he wants to be my friend. But sometimes he catches my toys on fire. Mommy, Daddy, I think he's here. I think he wants to kill you.
Oh, hello, guys. We're back.
We're here. We're on here. You can find us on MySpace. You can check us on Lycos. Ask Jeeves.
Ooh, those are some good ones.
Come talk to us.
Yeah, they need to all make a comeback.
Yeah, we're the world famous Brohio podcast show.
World famous.
They're listening to us in Syria, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan. I'm just fucking kidding. They'll cut your ear off and shove it up your fucking ass if you listen to a podcast there.
We may be bouncing off the satellites up in space for all we know. They could be listening to us on...
Neil Armstrong's up there just taking a shit, listening to the Brohio podcast show, trying to figure out how astronauts wipe their asses. If you're an astronaut and you're listening to the Brohio podcast show...
That's a good question.
Send us an email. Let us know how you wipe your ass in space.
Well, with that, I am Rob Dog, and here always...
It's delicious, Nicolicious.
It's the Q to my U.
And just, I was sitting there today, and I was kind of wondering about why is it so hard as a chubby person to shave your balls? I was in the shower. I'd grab that thing like it's a spitting cobra, like it's trying to keep it from biting me, and I twirl it around my hand, and it's so hard to shave that thing without...
It's really bad when you're cold.
I pretty much stay hot all the time. That's the thing about my weight, is it keeps you hot all the time. No, I'm on these blood pressure medicine and blood thinners.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking cold all the time now.
Yeah, it's the worst. I hate being cold.
And I work in a freezer sometimes. I'm going to pass away in there. I'm going to fucking die. They're going to come. I'll have to use a pry bar to get my ass off the ground. I'm just going to freeze there.
You're going to be like all the Icemen on Everest.
Could you imagine what I'd smell like when I died? Just like someone waffle stomped some shit and onions together. He's definitely dead.
Grilled chicken and broccoli.
Speaking of pooping, there's a...
Why not?
I'm sorry.
That's all we do.
I'm sorry. If you've never listened to the Brohio podcast show before, we're bad. We're rude. We're crude. We're snapping necks and cashing checks. Just go away. And if you do love us, go leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. We love those.
Or give us $5.
Yeah, give us $5 too. Go to patreon.com/Brohio podcast show. You donate $5 and you unlock Bro Talk, our premium show where we'll call you.
Hey, yeah, we will.
We'll call you. We'll talk to you. We'll see about your problems.
We got nothing else better to do with our time.
We'll whisper sweet nothings. We'll have phone sex. I got a really good phone sex voice. I'm not using it on here. You got to pay to hear it.
Yeah, I've paid.
And I just want to reach out to Ohio Shedhead. He left us a review on iTunes.
Okay.
It's a really good review. He says he loves us. He says the show's spooky sometimes. We're doing a great job. But then he left a 1-star on the iTunes. So if that's what you intended, thank you for taking the time to leave us a 1-star review.
We're very polite. That's probably the best 1-star review we've had.
We got the one this week where the guy's like, I'm not listening anymore because the most outspoken host, he said that women are bitches.
Oh, yeah.
That's not true. I was talking about the woman that didn't know she was pregnant and that she just shit out her first kid and she didn't even know she had a kid. And I said, God damn, bitch. I don't think women are bitches.
Nah.
You guys can find my wife on Instagram. Ask her if I've ever called her the B word. And she will happily tell you that I've never insulted her because I'm a gentle giant. I am a tender teddy bear.
You know how it is, man. You can't say anything nowadays.
Unfortunately, we can. We do.
We do.
But back to my thing about taking a shit. There's on our closed group, Butt Chuggers
Sweet
Anonymous.
Transition there.
Right. You can get into the Butt Chuggers closed group. Passwords, Bill Wilkins. I'm throwing it out there.
You're just laying the big dick down.
Yeah. There's people that try to get in all the time. They look like nice people. They look like funny people, but they get declined because they don't know the password.
One person just said, yeah.
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 It's passwords, Bill Wilkins. There's a poll going on right there. It says, "Do you wipe your ass
Standing up or sitting down?"
Sitting down.
This is funny because
Kind of filthy fucking animal wipes standing up.
I was gonna say a couple of years ago that was the first time I heard someone say that they stood up, and I was like, "Are you okay?
You have a medical condition." The best.
How do you get in there to get yourself clean?
To go one step further, I turn myself into like a lawn chair, and I can fold up, and I just dip my ass down the water.
All those years of yoga.
Yeah. But my favorite thing to do is at work, I just get completely naked. We have a lot of stalls in the bathroom. My socks and all, it's all coming off, and I hang it up. So then, people look down underneath the stall to see if anyone's in there, and they just see my bare feet and hairy legs.
I go, "Hey, Nick,
what's he doing in there? Taking a fucking bath. Get the fuck out of here." But yeah, write the Brohio podcast show. Let us know if you wipe your ass standing up, sitting down, or if you don't wipe your ass at all. That's fine too.
Brings down the rainforest. Fuck it.
Yeah. Hand sanitizer doesn't work. That hurts really bad. You ever wipe with hand sanitizer?
Can't say I have.
Me neither.
I may try that.
Let's check out our Patreon subscribers. I don't think Rob has it over there. So
I don't.
I'm gonna rattle these off real quick.
All right.
Carissa Swanson. You know why she joined? Because we talked to her last week on Bro Talk.
Yeah.
So she had to hear her own voice talk to us. She had to join.
I'm going to hear and then I'm going to cancel.
She's from Pennsylvania. She's
Thank
a
you.
goddamn Steelers fan. That's fine.
It's okay.
We still love her.
We still love you.
Because we are fans of the Bengals and the Reds.
Yeah. It's rough.
I haven't even given the Reds the time of day. I mean, it's bad. Carissa, we love you. Josh Kitchen, at least you know your place, buddy. Thank you for your Patreon pledge. Lindsay Westcott, she said, "I'm going to get my own episode." I think she went to the $50 club.
Woo.
So I think our next episode is going to be a Patreon episode with one of our...
Well, our next episode is going to be the live show.
Oh, yeah. You can check us out for the live show. We'll get to that here in just a second.
Yeah.
And also Jordan Johnson. Jordan, thank you for your pledge.
Johnson.
And also, guys, if you guys like hot sauces, I'm going to plug them one more time. Go check out fuegobox.com. That's
Do it.
FUEGObox.com. Fuego Box. They'll send you hot sauce every month. Lots of delicious stuff. It's not the burn your asshole, burn your mouth stuff.
Yeah, it's the flavor hot sauce.
Super, super tasty. You can get $10 off your first order. Just use the promo code BROHIO, and that's all of our advertising, because we are sponsored by nobody, because we're not fucking sellouts like Blink-182 and Metallica.
Nobody wants to sponsor us, so
why would they? This week we got promo swaps with the Fiercely Altered Perspective podcast.
Oh, what up, guys?
And the Little Podcast of Horrors. They both cover true crime. Some of them kind of, I know the Little Podcast of Horrors, they do some horror show stuff, or, some horror themed stuff.
Yeah, and he's saying horror, not whore.
No, I'm saying horror as in someone you pay for sex.
Okay.
And then
I'll subscribe.
The Fiercely Altered Perspective podcast, they're finally up and going. That's Quinn and Ember.
What up?
They're a married couple. Sometimes for their Patreon episodes, they just put up audio of them having sex. I've heard it. Quinn sounds like he's really good.
Yeah.
Also, if you get really lucky, their $100 Patreon club, he just takes audio of himself brushing his mustache, which is my most favorite thing to listen to. So let's go ahead and have a listen to their two promos, Rob.
Check them out.
Hi, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Ember.
And this is The Fat Pod.
Also known as the Fiercely Altered Perspective podcast.
Here we take topics and put our own twist on them, giving you another perspective to stories that you know and love, and some you've never heard about, combining our interests, deep research, humor, and storytelling into one complex podcast.
Talking heavy on true crime, plus other great topics such as vampires, cults, cannibalism, aliens, conspiracy theories, mythology, folklore, creepy history, and how the hell we haven't managed to completely kill off the human race.
You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts can be found, simply by searching for Fiercely Altered Perspective. Be sure to follow us on social media, all at The Fat Pod, and join our Facebook group, The Fap Lounge, to join our discussion threads to give us your perspective on each episode and get a chance to get a shout out on the next show.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Julie.
And we host the Little Podcast of Horrors, where we talk about true crime, horror movies, and sometimes we just like to banter.
You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and anywhere else you listen to your podcast.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TheLPOH.
And email us your suggestions at littlepodcastofhorrors@gmail.com.
Thanks.
Sleep well.
Go give them a listen, guys.
Yeah.
It would mean a lot to us. It would mean a lot to them.
Make a little kid happy.
I know how to make little kids happy.
Oh no.
You just give them handfuls of Swedish fish and they eat them. I gave my baby Swedish fish this week.
Yep.
She chewed them all up and then spit them in my fucking comforter. And then I went to bed and I stuck my toe in. I'm like, oh God. I thought it was afterbirth or something. I freaked the fuck out. I looked down there. I said, what is it? And it looked just like the stool softeners that I took last week.
Yeah.
And I said, what happened? What happened here? And that's the thing about kids. Stuff like that happens all the time.
Oh yeah, you're always stepping in something wet.
God, yeah, everything's always wet or fucking sticky. It's disgusting.
Yep.
Well, I got a live show coming up April 14th at Roosters. Roosters is a chicken wing joint. I swear to God, this is the best food you'll ever have. We're going to be with Tracy and Jerry. They're from Hillbilly Horror Stories. We're going to be with Justin Rimmel from Mysterious Circumstances. Ooh. You get 3 podcasts for the price of $10. And then for, another $10, I'll toss your salad. And I got a cat tongue though. It's like sandpaper. I got a shitty kitty tongue.
Oh.
What do y'all know about the shitty kitty?
I like that.
This is going to be in Milford, Ohio. As Rob said, we put the MILF in Milford. We're going to bring our wives. They are people that we are extremely sexually active with. They don't like it very much, but they lay still for it most of the time. Yep. You can check it out on Eventbrite. I think we got the link on our Instagram bio. But just do a little Google search, Eventbrite, Ohio. It'll pop up. I think there's 10 tickets or less left, and we're a week out. So all you motherfuckers that are waiting for the welfare check to hit, it's not going to happen. We're not going past the first.
No, it's not going to happen.
You're going to have to circle back.
Yep.
From our buddy Nick in the Butt Chuggers Anonymous, he passed us along an article this week, Rob.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to read it to you real quick.
All right, read away.
Hopefully, if you're reading this, you live far from the town of Parrish, Alabama, because if you're not, that means that you're probably tired of smelling the 10 million pounds of human feces that have been stranded in a local rail yard for over 2 months. And to make matters worse, it's not even from the residents who live in the town, because it would take the entire population of 982 residents over 27 years to collectively produce that amount of waste.
My thing here is as you read that, so they would be happier smelling their own shit than somebody else's.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, everyone likes the smell of their own brand.
It's not even my shit, and I have to smell it.
Yeah. It's actually coming down the pike from waste management facilities in the northeastern U.S., namely, and this sucks so bad, New York and New Jersey, in a large containers labeled Epic. So, hey, go ahead and give me the bagel. If you got some of the corned beef still back there, I'll do some of that. And if you could just fire up the pizza oven. I take some pizza with the Funyuns. It doesn't matter. This stuff gives me the screaming shits, but they just back up a dumpster to my house and they just go out there and I take a big old dragon shit in it and they drag my shit down to Alabama and make them motherfuckers smell it. It's fine. You motherfuckers don't know about pizza and bagels and Yonkers. It's a big old creamy New York shit. If you're listening to the Ohio Podcast Show and you're from the New York metropolitan area, please send us a picture of your shit to see if we can figure out if it's quite on par of what we think. Is it a big nasty shit? Is it worse than an Ohio shit? We got Skyline shits. We got 3 ways, we put chili on spaghetti. We shit it out. It's really bad. But I feel like a native New Yorker, that bowel movement is going to be really bad.
That just fucked me up so bad.
Hang in there, Rob.
I'm laughing so fucking hard.
Hang in there, Rob. Local agency struck up contracts with a private landfill 25 miles southeast in Adamsville, Alabama. Roll motherfucking tide. Apparently, neighboring towns of Adamsville have had it. They've had it with waste shipments as well. The town of West Jefferson filed an injunction against the landfill to prevent the storage of the waste in a nearby rail yard in January. However, it's been sitting in Parrish where there are no zoning laws that make the storage illegal ever since. Parrish only spans 2 square miles.
Oh my God.
Town's mayor.
It's all shit. They're making buildings out of it.
Heather Hall says that everything stinks because of the containers. It greatly reduces the quality of life, she told CNN. Well, I would fucking think so. You can't sit out on your porch. Kids can't go outside and play, and God help us if it gets hot and this material is still out there. I can't fucking do this right now, Rob. What the fuck is going on in Alabama?
Why is this article still going? There's still more.
You people, fuck your brothers and sisters. Just go out there and shovel the shit into the river and send it down the way. Hall has reached out to both the Environmental Protection Agency and the Alabama Department of Environmental Management regarding the materials in the town's backyard. Both agencies have told Hall that the material, it's not dangerous because technically it is not raw sewage. Got some raw sewage for you. But is instead considered to be grade A bio-waste.
Oh my God.
It's because it came from them rich, fancy people in New York. It's grade A shit. Regardless of its classification, the town has compared it to dead bodies. Some homes are placed only 50 yards away from the foul-smelling boxes.
Oh, they better be dropping my property taxes for that shit.
God, I'm having a feeling that there's no property taxes where this is at. So far, there's no estimated time when the fecal freight will be sent out to pasture. At one point, there was 252 tractor trailer size loads of shit and perish, and it's anybody's guess what the number is now. Hall just wants the waste removed in a timely manner and has been advised against filing another injunction, which may further delay the removal of the waste.
I
Rob,
think that may have been the best article we've ever
gotta
had.
fucking close the doors here at Bro Ohio. That's
oh my
the,
gosh, this has been 15 minutes of shit talk.
I can't help it.
Literally.
I can't make it stop. It just won't stop. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. That was great. Thank you, Nick.
That's NIC.
NIC, not Nickalicious, but Nick.
Not the delicious Nickalicious.
But the semi-delicious
Oh my
Nickalicious.
God. This episode, we are talking about, and you heard it in the beginning, the creepy fucking kid.
Yeah.
We're going to put that in the beginning. I don't know who that kid was. She sleeps in my house every night. I said, hey, you want to record something creepy? She said, sure, Daddy, I'll come down and help you do anything you want. I said, come on down, sweetie. And that was little Sophie. She's the creepiest fucking kid in the world. This episode, we're covering kids that talk to and see the dead.
Yeah, it's not really an uncommon thing. So it's, as you've seen in hundreds of different movies.
Yeah, we're going to tell you why it happens.
Yeah.
Why it's more probable to happen to children, why it's fucking creepy, and why if it happens to your kid, you should have them put down. If you take your kid to the veterinarian and say, he sees dead people, the veterinarian will euthanize your child for you.
Yeah, no cost.
But they have a special medicine now that it just turns them into a zombie, so you can still have your kid. It won't see dead people anymore.
Hey.
Whatever works. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we can't agree on is that there's nothing scarier than a fucking kid that can talk to dead people and
rough.
see dead people.
Yeah.
And I think you had an experience.
Yeah, I did.
With your son.
Yeah, we've gone over this, I think, before, but I'll tell about it later.
Okay. In a lot of movies, they portray children seeing the dead a lot. So actually, that makes sense why there's such a phenomenon associated with this. It kind of perpetuates the creepiness in real life where the kids watch the movies and they learn stuff. That's why you can't let your kids watch YouTube and Netflix unmonitored. I once did that with my children where I just let them watch whatever on YouTube. I walk in, there's Disney princesses on an operating table and they're cutting each other's organs out.
Yeah,
Okay?
this was Elsa Gate. This was a big thing.
Right.
That's what it's called.
I once, I don't know anything about Elsa Gate.
Yeah.
This is,
I'm a huge into YouTube, so I know all about the stuff. But yeah, Elsa Gate was huge.
they just keep on clicking next video, and they come up and they look like they just smoked some fucking weed with some cocaine sprinkled in it, and they're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Like, what were you doing down there? She's dead. She's dead. I'm like, oh God, who?
Elsa's dead.
Not the cat. Please, not the cat. Karen Good, a psychotherapist. And you know who is the most world famous psychotherapist in the entire world? Fucking Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
They're none better. Psychotherapist Karen Good, she's an author of the book titled Kids Who See Ghosts. She explains in her book the types of things that can bring on children speaking to the dead. So apparently there's certain things that can happen in a life that gives the kids the ability to see the dead people. But then also you have to be able to differentiate between your kid making shit up or actually telling the truth.
There's scientific reasons that it could be happening as well. So that's what we'll get into next.
But like she says, there are actually some things that she says can happen in a kid's life that bring on the contact with the paranormal. But this stuff can also perpetuate the fake shit. You know, them making things up. And some of the things that can happen in their lives, too much diet soda, which I think is the funniest. Hey, Trevor, I know you're up there playing your games. for now on, you're going to have to drink regular Mountain Dew instead of Diet Dew when you're playing your Call of Duty. You could still have your Cool Ranch Doritos, but we're going to have to cut you back on the aspartame because
that's what it is.
It makes you see dead people. It also gives you ass cancer. We're not really concerned about you dying because you just sit up here and play video games all the time. So really, you can just keep on drinking all the diet soda you want. Just don't tell us about the dead people you see. Food allergies can bring it on. Emotional overloads. I think I had a couple of those in high school.
We've all been there.
I've had not many ever since I worked at the prison, I've just been dead. So.
It'll do it.
In a negative home environment, she says that certain situations can trigger an adrenal overload of the stress hormone called cortisol, which can send the brain into psychic activity overload.
I find that really interesting. So I think that's probably, a big thing with the adrenal overload. I get so caught up in reading stuff, but one thing that's completely fascinating with me is the chemistry and the way the chemicals work inside the human body and what it can do to you. It's pretty crazy.
Right? Endorphins and this is the Bro High podcast show. So like when you have sex with somebody, like the chemicals that are released, the endorphins, it creates in most instances,
euphoria.
Yeah. An incredible bond, I should say. Unless it's a one night stand and you're having sex with some guys his balls smell like they have some smegma on there, some smudge.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, my wife's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing with you until I get these grapefruits polished off, babe. I got some." And if you're having problems with stinky balls, I recommend shaving down there because the hair can trap all the smells. Really gives it a nasty smell. That water that gathers in the bottom of a trash can during a hot summer?
Oh, yeah.
That's what your balls smell like when you don't shave them. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not a doctor. I played a doctor one time. I played doctor last night. I wasn't very good at it, but I succeeded.
I ended up with a kid from playing doctor.
Three times. World heavyweight champ. WrestleMania's tonight. Come on.
One time it was teacher and student. We get a little kinky there.
Hello there.
I was the pervy older teacher.
You've been so bad. If you look on these baby websites and baby forums, there's a lot of moms that reach out on these things that claim to have issues with their children potentially seeing dead people.
Some good stuff there.
The best way to stop the kids seeing dead people is get the fucking dead bodies out of your living room. You got to move them. Whatever your husband's doing, if he's in the mafia, the mob, why is he leaving dead bodies in the living room?
You can only use stand for a coffee table for so long before your kids get suspicious.
He smells so bad. Please get him.
Dad, why is Tony in the refrigerator?
This is a story from the Baby Center website. If you've ever gone to the Baby Center website, oh my God. Every single mom on there thinks their kid's fucking dying from milk allergies.
Yeah.
But here's the story.
Because the first place you want to go to anyways is the internet for questions or for answers.
I read on Google and their doctor rolls their eyes. Like, this motherfucker. I know everyone has a different view on this subject, but from the age of 2, I have seen ghosts. Don't care if you don't believe me. I wouldn't either if it didn't happen to me.
Fuck the haters.
For the past year, my daughter has shown signs of seeing them too. For example, the last 2 nights, she has come to my room crying. The first night, she told me I called her name. I didn't. I took her to bed and she hugged me and said she was scared and wanted the man in her room to leave. Last night, she was screaming and freaking out in the hall. When I opened the door, she ran to me and said, "Don't let him take me. Don't let him take me." And I asked who, and she said the man coming up the stairs. My mom said I used to do the same thing and she would have me sleep with her. The only thing I could think to do was pray. Anyone else experience this? She's not sleeping or dreaming. It happens all the times of the day and night.
Spoopy.
That's very spoopy.
Yeah.
And as a father, the one thing you want to do is protect your children, man. I don't care how fucking shitty they are. My kids aren't that shitty. I love my children. But you want to protect your kids. You want to keep them from ever being in fear, even though sometimes I do go up to their window and I growl and like scratch and throw mulch at it and stuff, and it scares the shit out of them. But that's me. That's just me being the delicious Nickalicious. Okay?
Hey, you got to keep them in line.
Right. You do have to keep them in line. That's why if you put a leash on them, and you can hit them with a wiffle ball bat. They can't get away when you got the leash on them. That's
it's like a pinata.
That's for really bad kids.
It's like a child pinata.
I've also seen people do this to their hedgehogs if you have a problem with your hedgehog misbehaving.
Okay.
And to get a little more scientific here, Miss
I like this one.
Carla Walther from the blog We Women, me and Rob are big contributors to the website We Women. She says,
there's a lot of gusto to this one. I like this one.
right. She says that children aren't quite conditioned to ignore what seems impossible. So in their little brains, they can't differentiate between what is the unbelievable. So when we walk, when we're walking around, we see something out of the corner of our eye, we brush it off as a shadow.
Right.
Whereas kids haven't been conditioned to think like, hey,
they think everything's possible.
it's just a shadow. Maybe that was a fucking dragon, Rob. Maybe that wasn't a hobo getting his dick sucked that just dipped behind the corner when he saw you. Maybe that was a dead person or an old family member.
Or Slendy.
They're Slender, man. Adults can see on the electromagnetic spectrum range. They can see between 400 to 700 nanometers. Okay? Children, they can see at 380 nanometers, putting them in the UV range, which makes them much more susceptible to see things that we can't see.
Because most people that like go over, I'm trying to think of what the word is right now.
The gaydar?
Not the gaydar, but paranormal experts.
Okay.
Most of them will believe, that your spirits are gonna live in that UV range.
Okay. Yeah. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the kids. I mean, these manifestations, they're seeing things that you can't see.
Right, and they say the same thing with animals as well.
Just like when your cat sees a string on the ground, you see a string, but your cat sees a full-blown boa constrictor that's trying to kill you. So my cat loves hair ties, and I got 4 women living in this house, so the cat stays busy. Carla Walther also says that babies are on this earth for a short time. That's why they're babies. They haven't been here that long, but they've just shortly been removed from the spirit realm. So they are slightly still in tune with that spirit world, yet physically all the way supplanted it here in our world. So they kind of got the contact with the spiritual realm that they're not far removed from.
Right.
But they're here. So it makes them much more susceptible to see things from this alternate realm, the spirit realm, the in-between.
They're still closely tied to that.
Which is completely crazy to me.
It is.
And a lot of stories I read, the kids that say they see people, it's oftentimes they'll describe a grandparent that isn't any longer on the earth.
Right.
And the parents are just like, what the fuck, man? Because this kid is explaining to a T what the grandparent looks like, and certain mannerisms, certain smells, certain things they wore. And one thing that we're not covering this episode that can be an episode on its own are kids that had before lives that were reincarnated. And I read a lot of stories about kids that could explain things that happened inside the buildings of 9/11. Their last memory is of jumping out of a tower on 9/11 or burning to death. There's a kid on YouTube that is kind of popular. Said he was a Civil War soldier, and this kid was like 4 or 5, and he fucking draws maps and explains several different things.
I've seen that one. That's pretty crazy.
It's completely insane. Scientists determine that these types of things pertaining to children can be determined using an M&M test. And if you have M&Ms, you can check to see, I guess this is an experiment that they recommend. I wouldn't recommend it because I'm on a diet and I would probably eat all the M&Ms.
Exactly. Yep, same.
So what you have to do is you have to put 5 different types of M&Ms, 5 of each.
Different colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a non-see-through bag. So you got 25 M&Ms total. You got 5 yellow, 5 red, 5 blue, 5 green, 5 whatever fucking colors left. So what you do is you shake up the bag and then you reach inside of it and you hold up one M&M. And you have the kid guess what color M&M you're picking up. And you do this 25 times. And usually, I guess, the normal correct responses, correct guesses, is between 3 to 5 out of the 25 guesses. if your child guesses anything like a 7 or above, there's a good chance you're dealing with a psychic, or maybe a child with a certain type of heightened sense of awareness as far as the paranormal. I haven't tried this with my kids yet. I do have one daughter. She's the one that did the recording in the beginning. She was staring out my back window one time while I was cleaning, and she was just completely locked on to whatever she was seeing in the backyard. And I've told you the story before. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Hey, Sophie, what are you looking at?" And then she turned real slow to me, and just like a dead, creepy voice, she said, "I see the devil." And I said, "What?" And she just said, and she turned back around and looked outside. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I put the blinds down, and I told her mom about it. And then her mom asked her about it. She's like, "I was just kidding." And I'm like, "I don't fucking believe you."
Yeah, you don't joke about that.
No. And we're going to get to that's kind of one of the things that you can determine. That's when you're investigating whether your kid is actually dealing with these type of things. The first thing parents skip past is to ask your kids, like, "Hey, are you fucking making this up or not?" There's certain, I'll get later a little flowchart you can ask your kids. And as the kids get older, they kind of, when they go off to school and whatnot, they're made fun of if this is something they're going to carry with them. And it's kind of, they're taught to suppress what they know and what they can do. So these school age kids are getting bullied and made fun of. They're being asked by their peers to perform on command, like, "Hey, if you see dead people, tell us where they're at right now." And that's not good for a child that has these, I guess, possesses these skills.
Right.
They can't perform. They're not circus clowns like Rob and I.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing. Like if you're talking to a comedian and you're like, "Oh, you're funny. Well, tell me a joke."
It happens to me all the time. They're like, "Are you Nick?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Fucking dance, clown."
Right.
I know it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
Like first thing in the morning, I fucking hate talking to everybody. I don't like anything at all.
Yeah, I don't want anything to exist.
And everyone's like, "Make me laugh." I'm like, How about you go to them steps and throw yourself down? I'll laugh at that. Fucking asshole. But these kids, they suppress the ability to see, or I'm sure use their psychic abilities and use the ability to see spirits, people that have moved on. And then by the time they reach, 13, 15 years old, they've buried the stuff so far inside of them, they no longer have the ability, or no longer, the ability just lies dormant. They don't do it anymore. So what's the difference? Imaginary friends tend to be flexible to a situation. When you ask your child about details, they'll often pause as they create answers. That's a good way to tell if your child is lying, if they take a long pause and they have to fabricate an answer. Now, when you're asking about whether the child is actually seeing a spirit or something paranormal, like a real person, the person they're speaking about won't be flexible, and the answers will be quite forthcoming. They'll often be able to describe them with terrific accuracy and details without hesitation at all, as in the man was standing there and he was wearing a top hat and a suit, or he was wearing a cowboy hat and a vest. They're going to beat around the bush when they're lying. They're going to make things up. They're going to make up random, like it had a unicorn horn and polka dots. Well, get the fuck out of here, Sally. I'm tired of your shit. I'm tired of you messing with Daddy. You're not getting your Lunchable before bed tonight. I'm taking the Capri Sun. You can have the Lunchable. All right. But in the aspect of these kids potentially telling the truth, they're going to be straight to the point. They're not going to dance around it. They're going to tell you straight up. I think I did get a few stories off of Reddit, which go into detail about certain experiences and people dealing with the children seeing the spirits. So I'll go ahead and start these Reddit stories. How about that?
Sure.
While changing my daughter in front of the open closet door, she kept looking around me and laughing. I asked her what was so funny. She said, "The man," to which I replied, "What man?" She then pointed at the closet and said, "The man with the snake neck."
Oh, shit.
Jesus Christ, a snake neck.
Where's this giraffe man?
Oh, I turned around and nothing was there. I'm afraid to look into the history of my house to see if anyone hung themselves in the closet. At least she wasn't scared. And I
Oh,
did
shit.
look into this a little more.
I don't know why I did not think of someone being hung.
Kids that have, this is fucking terrifying, dude. I've read about more than one situation where a kid has claimed to seen like a scary man with a snake neck or a stretchy neck, or the kid will say a giraffe neck.
So I just asked, it's a giraffe man.
Right. It's a slender giraffe. He's a hybrid.
Dude, I would fucking shit myself if I saw someone with like a really, really long, like a giraffe neck.
Right.
A human head all chilled on top.
Could you imagine the gag reflex on that thing? Come here, big boy. Now, that's completely terrifying that a child is possibly seeing something in its shape that it took on after it died. So if you got to think about someone that possibly had their face ripped off in some kind of Bob Kitty accident,
right?
And someone's possibly seeing that person, the kid is possibly seeing that person with their face ripped off. That's a little disheartening for me that there's possibly kids out there that are dealing with these psychic capabilities that are seeing things like this. They're seeing someone with a fucked up neck, and there's certain websites you can go on that you can see what bodies look like after they've done these things to themselves. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it. It's out there.
Hey, it's the internet.
It's completely terrifying. My next story here says, when my daughter was around 4 or 5, we lived in a house that had been converted into 3 separate apartments. We lived in the basement portion. Because of the way they converted the house, there was a small recessed area under one of the stairways that formed a small closet storage space in her room. One night while she was getting ready for bed, I overheard her talking to someone in her room. I poked my head in and asked if she was calling for me. Her words? No, I was talking to the little boy who lives in my closet. He's dead. Whew. No, I'm good. I'm good, fam. And this is when you put the kid in the car, you take it to the emergency vet clinic, and you're like, here, I'd like to take you up on your 2-for-1 special. I would like you to take this animal. I don't want it anymore.
That's rough. That's spoopy.
That is rough. But they say you have to sit down and talk to these kids and tell them, hey, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not bad for doing this. But a lot of people, their first instinct is to rush them to a psychiatrist or psychologist.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily in my mind if that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But most psychiatrists and psychologists don't subscribe to the plan that there are potentially the ability to see ghosts and spirits.
Yeah.
So they're going to automatically give them a diagnosis of being psychotic or possibly schizophrenic. You're not going to get, you're going to create a vortex of shit for this kid where they're going to put them on meds. They're essentially going to turn your kid into a zombie. Maybe not necessarily. I know there are a lot of people suffering from mental health issues that do live full functioning lives and healthy lives with the assistance of their medications. I know awesome people that have to have certain things to help level out their lives. And I should probably take something like that. I don't, I just scream into a microphone for 2 hours a week.
Yeah. They're going to look at the more, medical
Every time.
reason instead of, maybe the fact that they don't have an imaginary friend, they're hanging out with ghosts.
Right. Unless you take him to Peter Venkman, and he could probably get this all sorted out for you. If you don't know who Peter Venkman is, look him up. World famous doctor. I got another story here for you.
All right.
This one's about old Sheila. Anytime you're dealing with old Sheila, you gotta watch out for that hairy pussy because she'll whip it out and she'll drag it on your face. She'll say, hey there, Rob Dog, how would you like this big old, I call this the wet mop, where I put it down on your nose and I drag it down. You like the wet mop there, Robbie?
I love Sheila.
Oh, Sheila, you never seen a bitch shoot a ping pong ball with a pussy 4 feet before, have you? I can also smell cool and camel lights here with this thing too. Watch this. You ever met a woman that can smoke a cigarette with a pussy?
That's so dirty.
You're blushing so bad over there. Says, my then 2-year-old daughter used to scream in the night and told my wife and I it was because she was visited by a lady. I love visits from ladies in the middle of the night. This is not part of the story, but a few weeks later, she stopped screaming. Offhandedly, I asked if the lady had stopped coming. That's COM coming.
That's what he said.
Okay. She answered, no, she's just nice now. Her name is Sheila. She sleeps in my bed sometimes. Oh, fuck me. A year later, my youngest daughter turned 2 and started having the same screaming fits. Talking to her, she described the same lady named Sheila. Well,
Fucking Sheila.
Skip forward 3 years. We'd never talked with our kids about it, figuring there had to be some active imaginations and sibling storytelling involved. It hadn't come up in at least 2 years. We moved with our 3 kids, including a 2.5-year-old son. First night in the new house, he asked, where will Sheila sleep now? Whew. And my hair on my neck just fucking stood up because that was the most terrifying thing ever.
Yeah.
All right, now we got some audio clips of kids talking to the dead. Kids seeing
Our favorite
shit.
thing.
All right, so let's plug those in for you real quick.
Yeah.
And just to set this one up a little bit for you. This is a little girl, 4-year-old girl talking to her mom, and she's asking her mom about her mother's grandma. Her grandma is dead, but her mom is trying to explain to her that she got old and she passed away. She was 95, and the little girl just keeps on asking questions, and the mom's just like, "No, she died because she was old. I love you," and giving her kisses and stuff. They're just playing with their webcam. So let's play you the audio.
I love you.
Oh. Was she did you grandma almost couldn't walk?
She was old. She could walk, but she was old. Okay?
Mommy, your grandma's here. And she says, hi, Jamila.
What?
Your grandma's here. And she says, hi, Jamila.
Yeah, so the little girl is seeing grandma in the corner, and grandma says, tell Jamila I said hi.
Of course, that's something that, that the little girl's not just going to know or remember.
No, and if the part for me in this video, and I got a little bit of goosebumps. I got a little bit of shitty kitty goosebumps going on right now. Thing about this video is if my kid was trying to mess with me, she would say, your grandma said tell daddy hi.
Right.
Not your grandma said tell Nicholas hi. And in this video, this little girl that hasn't been talking for very long, obviously, she says, your grandma says tell Jamila hi. And that's kids don't
get that specific whenever they're coming up with
process information like that to use.
Right.
To use like a first name with mommy and daddy, or mommy and daddy, not Jamila, not Rob and Nick, which is kind of fucking, oh God. I hate ghosts. I fucking hate kids. I just want to get a trailer where I don't have to deal with either one of them. All right. Let's, and one thing, there's certain places I won't go as far as people I won't make fun of, people I won't, put down. A lot of my research is directed towards autistic children being able to see.
They're even more susceptible.
I mean, they have completely beautiful minds.
Absolutely.
They have beautiful hearts. And one thing about these children, about the autistic kids, for whatever reason, even as they progress a little older, they're more susceptible to see these things. I can't remember the exact specifics. I know it has a lot to do with, I guess, their welcoming hearts and welcoming minds that makes it seem a little easier for someone from the other world to reach out to them. So, yeah, one thing I'm starting to think the older I get is our world is kind of based off energy. And I don't know why I think that. I mean, I was raised in a really devout, Christian, not, we went to church and we prayed sometimes, but we never spoke about the energy in the world. And I think, these spirits from the other world, they feed off certain energies, just like when you have a bad house, a negative environment, you're possibly going to be dealing with a lot of poltergeist and demonic activity. And these spirits from the other world, they can feed off the energy from these autistic children. They can see how beautiful and welcoming their hearts are and their minds as well. And they know that it's someone that they can reach out to. And a lot of and I hate to say it, but a lot of these people take their kids to the doctor and say, hey, he's seeing things that aren't there. And the doctors are automatically saying, okay, well, take this drug, and this drug. And then you're taking away from their life, essentially, in some instances. So even it's just sit down with your kids, whether you have, a kid that sees these things or not, and just with a welcoming heart, just talk to them about what they're experiencing, talk to them about what they're feeling and what they're seeing. Don't rush them off to a doctor. Sometimes you are their doctor. You're their best hope, because sometimes doctors are going to make things worse for them. Yeah.
I'm looking at that article that we were just talking about. It's on Psychology Today.
Okay.
And they're talking about pretty much exactly what you said. And then there's this one article, or this one portion of the article, where it says, take Melissa, for example. Melissa is a single mom to a 12-year-old autistic Daniel. From the time he was little, Daniel would look up at the ceiling and react to some invisible being. As he got older, Daniel would draw pictures of an old man in a cowboy hat and say things like, he's here. He'd point to the picture and then at the ceiling. With time, Melissa became worried about her son's mental health and took him to a neurologist, who found nothing wrong but referred Daniel to a psychiatrist. It looks like from there, it turned out he wasn't the only person even in his family to see the old cowboy. I think it was Melissa's mother has seen him as well. Okay. So, it's one of those things where it can happen.
Right. You rush them to the doctor for nothing, even though they're actually having a true life experience.
Right.
And it's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And now I have another clip for you. I believe this is I think this one's about a little girl who her dad passed away in the 9/11 towers, the terrorist attacks by George Bush. And sorry.
Got to throw that in there.
And she was little when this happened, but then she started telling her mom about her dad's friends that died with him and how they were in her bedroom, like telling her knock-knock jokes. And she knew the names of all of her dad's coworkers, even though she'd never been told the names of her dad's coworkers. So it's kind of chilling.
Ooh.
Let me roll this for you.
Okay.
She would tell me she could see her daddy.
That's it? Dad, swim to mommy.
The first time Lisa O'Brien knew something bizarre was happening was when she found her 4-year-old daughter JC having a conversation in an empty room.
I'd find her talking to herself, and I'd say, JC, who are you talking to? My dad. Talking to Daddy.
But JC's father was dead, killed in the September 11th attack on the World Trade Center. Lisa tried to probe gently.
Okay, and what's going on? Daddy and Tommy McHale. It was always Tommy McHale.
And Tommy McHale was somebody he worked with.
Another one of the boys that he worked with. She named the guys that
first
she
and last
had
name.
never met before. Mm-hmm. I showed her a picture and said, do you know who these guys are? And she said, oh, Mommy, those are the boys.
And I named all the boys. I was like, I'm talking to Daddy, Uncle Steve.
And Eddie Shunk and Eamon McEnany.
Now 13, JC vividly remembers it all.
They'd be telling me knock-knock jokes. Yeah, and I was just talking to them.
JC and her mom are just two of many people now coming forward in what may be the strangest aftermath of 9/11. While for most of us it's a national and emotional scar, some relatives left behind say it's also been a step into an alternate world they never could have imagined.
I want to tell you my secret now.
A world where movies like The Sixth Sense
I see dead people.
Don't seem so outlandish.
What did you think when you heard this?
I was jealous.
Jealous?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she got to see them and I didn't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's heavy shit right there.
Yeah, that's very specific too, which is what's
right.
That's something you can't really like make up. You're dropping first and last names for people you don't even shouldn't even know.
Yeah, and that's no No doubt in my mind this stuff actually happens.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah, there's no doubt.
I'm sad that some people seek the incorrect help for the kids that they need. Not that they need help.
Right.
They need more like a spiritual guide, like someone that a clairvoyant or a medium, someone not preferably
Not Bill Wilkins.
and not the old Warrens. Someone that isn't out there charging thousands of dollars for their help. Someone that's actually connected to the other side. I got another clip for you.
Oh, all right.
This one's kind of scary too. I think this is a little boy. He's they're filming him for playing in his room, and he's on the floor playing with a truck. His dad's trying out his new camera, and this little boy just starts having a conversation with someone in his room, and this is coming back to me now. This little kid starts having a conversation with someone there. No one's there, and he's looking at no one, but
Right.
he's answering questions. Like this person is asking this child very specific questions, and this child is answering the very specific questions and asking whoever he's talking to similar questions.
So there's a conversation going on.
This is a conversation. Prepare to be spooped.
Do you like my truck? I got it for my birthday. 6. Carson.
It says age and his name.
Are you hungry?
I am actually.
Yeah, starving.
Do you live here? What's your name? That's my grandmother's name.
Why would you do that?
Sorry.
To them? Why would you do that to them? That's terrible, Rob.
I'm a horrible person.
And that little kid, you heard him say, "I'm 6."
Yeah.
My name's Carson.
Got his
I
truck
got
for his birthday.
And it sounds like the end. It sounds like the kid says he's in there, isn't he? Like something like that. Like,
Something of that. Yeah.
fuck you, Carson. Carson, if you're listening to the Bro Ohio podcast show,
Who was in there?
I fucking hate you. That's scary. This is terrifying stuff.
Fight a 6-year-old.
And I got a little flowchart here. I found this on I think the Daily Dot or something like that. It's a little flowchart you can use to ask your kids if you think they see dead people. Step 1: ask your toddler if she is lying. Most parents skip this step. Step 2: if she says no about being a liar, ask her if she's just playing pretend.
You're a fucking liar.
Yeah. Listen here, you little fucking shit. Step 3: if she says yes, firmly explain that playing pretend is a euphemism for lying. Step 4: if your child is scared of the ghost, firmly explain that ghosts don't exist. Wink at the ghost just in case. Step 5: if your child is adamant that there is indeed a ghost, confirm whether the ghost is telling your child to murder you in your sleep. If yes, explain to your child that you have an iPad and the ghost doesn't. Whose side should you really be on? That's what I thought. Step 6: ask if the ghost is also a child. If yes, ask what historical era it's from to ascertain if the ghost child will teach your child any bad habits like racism.
Oh my God.
If no, skip number 8. Step number 7: if the ghost child doesn't display any racist behavior, tell them to go play with the train table and stay out of your way for a while. Yay, fun ghost.
The number 8.
It's a party ghost. Step number 8, ask if the ghost is an adult. If yes, ask if the ghost would be willing to babysit while you do a few household chores. Step 9, if the ghost is willing to babysit, request that it take your child to the park and then walk her home again. If that nosy neighbor calls the police to report a free-range child, turn the ghost on them.
I just love because I thought this was going to be totally serious.
Step number 10, determine whether the ghost died in a horrible way. If yes, determine if they deserved it. If they did, the ghost is probably not a suitable playmate for your child. If they did not deserve it, firmly explain you don't have the mental energy for that kind of baggage. Sorry about it. Step number 11, if the bad ghost who deserved to die horribly communicates that playing with the child is the only way to get rid of its chains, ask for proof. Pro tip, the eerie sound of rattling chains only proves the existence of chains, not that doing a good deed will free the specter from said chains. Step 12, have your child ask the ghost if it needs help, passing over to the other side. If so, subtly hint that you have too much on your plate right now, but maybe if they could help with the dishes.
That helps.
Step 13, if the ghost cannot levitate objects enough to help with the housework, ask the ghost for suggestions of how they can help out. You are open to ideas. Example, can they hunt that nosy neighbor that gives you the evil eye when you let your kid run around naked outside? Step 14, if the ghost is proving stubborn, have your child ask if this is a get out of my house type haunting. If so, show the ghost your name on the deed or the lease. If you were at a complete standstill with the ghost about helping out around the house and or babysitting your child due to inherent evil, confusion about whether or not they're actually dead, laziness, house ownership dispute, numbness, or possibly the sexism aspect, it's a male ghost that doesn't want to do woman's work. Just burn the fucking house down.
Quote women's work. I love that.
That's from the Daily Dot.
That's not us.
Thank you, folks, at the Daily Dot for absolutely nothing.
That's a great flowchart. I'm gonna go home and talk to my kids.
Does it touch you? Is it really mean? How mean? Please give us answers.
We gotta know.
Now, you said you had an experience before about where Gugu. So was it Gugu?
It was Cooper. It was my oldest son. Is when he was
that's right.
When he was a baby. I've talked about this before. I think I've mentioned it on one of the episodes. There is kind of close to our house. There's an old historic cemetery.
Woodland?
No, it's the one.
Okay.
I'll tell you which one it is.
If you guys are listening, you can look up the Woodland Cemetery in Dayton, Ohio. There's all kinds of paranormal.
I think it's probably the most haunted spot in Ohio.
Right. You can check it out on the interwebs.
It's like 15 minutes from us.
Yep.
But no, we were at the cemetery, and it was really, really old cemetery. So we were looking at the tombstones are all weather worn, and you can barely tell what years they're born and died date. We were there. We were there for a little while. There was I specifically remember an infant or a toddler's headstone. Just crazy stuff. Like I said, I think it's from like the 17 to 1800s. And we were around a grave for a little while. We were trying to figure out which the dates were on it because we couldn't tell because it looked like to be the oldest one. And after a few minutes, my wife was holding him because I don't know if he could walk at that time or if he could walk. He was still noodle legged, so he was
useless.
Couldn't walk that well. And as we were leaving, he was looking back at the grave where we were at for a while, trying to read the headstone, and he looked back and he just waved over in that general area, and I look back and of course there's nothing there. And he stops for a second and he just kind of keeps staring over there. And as we're leaving again, he looks back again and starts waving right at the same spot.
Oh, fuck you.
So I don't know. It could have been, that exact one we were looking at. It could have been the kid's grave. So you could have been seeing the child.
Could have been a demon that latched on you and followed you home.
Or it could have just been some child predator hiding in the bushes.
Or that's why you have the screaming shits. You briefly spoke about him being noodle legged. We've spoke about hot legging on this show before, where this happens in prison where you get someone to lie on their stomach and they clench their legs together really tight, and then you fuck right below their butt cheeks, where their thighs meet their butt cheeks. If you can't get it up for that, that's called noodle legging.
Okay.
But if you can get your dick up for that, that's called hot legging. And that's one thing Rob and I like to do after we turn the microphones down, dim the lights, a little bit of hot legging. Let's get real for a second, guys. We are beyond appreciative that you guys listen to us and you give us, the time that you do give us. We've had some people reach out to us recently that said, they're dealing with PTSD from the military. We've had people reach out and say they've got a lot of dark stuff going on in their life right now, and they use us as they use us to unwind. They use us as someone to cheer them up,
kind of escape a little bit.
Yeah, and we're always here to talk to you guys. The social media thing is getting a little crazy for us. It's a full-time job, but 99% of the time we answer anybody that talks to us.
Yeah, we try special.
Sometimes if you send us stupid shit we don't care about, we don't answer it because you're just trying to ruin our show. You're from somewhere else and you're trying to ruin our stuff. And I got the call from the child just now. She said that her mother needs my help. So that's... Come over here, Emily. Are you naked? Okay, well, get out of here. She said, wrap it up. So we're going to wrap it up. I don't know why. I haven't worn a condom in about, I don't know, going on 15 years.
Good for you.
Right. It's terrible. I can't even pull out of a driveway anymore.
Well, thank you guys. We'll, I think our next one come out. We got our live show.
Yeah. Hopefully we can maybe squeeze something in next week for you besides the live show.
Yeah.
We got a boogeyman researched on the back.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we can plug in a boogeyman.
We might be able to squeeze that in. All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thanks. Have a good week, guys. Thanks
Love
for
ya.
listening.